Yo, what up folks, MTG here with a bit of a sweet one. That is a Mindsplice approach. Someone left a comment on the videos the other day asking, hey, why don't you do a Mindsplice deck? And I've had a couple in the back of my mind. This is a pretty sweet one. Blue-white, a little off the beaten track. I've seen blue-red lists, I've seen blue-green lists. I've posted a blue-green list, seen blue-black stuff. But blue-white here, and we're trying to do two things. We've got Mindsplice Apparatus, a 3 and a blue artifact with flash. Flash here, letting us kind of hold up that 4 mana, and then, hey, you don't need to use anything else. We'll flash in Mindsplice Apparatus and then start getting advantage off of it. What is that advantage? At the beginning of your upkeep, put an oil counter on Mindsplice Apparatus. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each oil counter on it. That's the plan, and the funnest thing, I think, in blue-white to do off of that is Approach of the Second Sun. So, 6 and a white. If the spell's been cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put it into the library, 7th from the top, and you gain 7 life. Bit of a throwback. I played so much Approach of different variations when it was standard. I played Approach a little bit on this channel, actually. But Approach here, being able to reduce this down to a very, very cheap cost to either be able to cast 2 from your hand on the same turn, or cast 1, cast spells to go find it, 7th from the top, win the game. So, we're surrounding that with a blue-white control shell. We've got a few alterations to kind of play around Mindsplice Apparatus. We're still playing Kahira, so we'll start there. Hey, first thing, it adds to the distractor because people say Kahira and they think, oh, you're on a normal blue-white list. That's fine. Outside of that, it is just useful to have the commander to pull, and then either, hey, make a blocker later in the game, or even potentially pressure your opponent. We do have a couple of other alternate win conditions that we can go to. How are we getting to the late turns to get to Mindsplice Apparatus? Well, we've got Laydown Arms, which obviously means we're playing a Plains-heavy mana base. One thing that Explorer does not have compared to Pioneer is that we don't have Prairie Stream. Unfortunate. But hey, we make do. So 4 copies of Laydown Arms, obviously incredible removal spell, exile target creature mana value less than or equal to the number of planes you control, kill against 3 life. Starts off being able to deal with cheap stuff, but then as the game progresses, you build more planes up, you can actually deal with pretty large threats as well. One of the cards and removal spells that is really nice with Mindsplice Apparatus is March of Otherworldly Light. White and X. As additional cost to cast it, you can exile any number of white cards from your hand, and it costs 2 less to cast for each. Nice. Exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment, so it deals with a bunch of different things, and obviously, early, we can deal with those cheap threats. We maybe pitch a card, but then when you've got Mindsplice Apparatus in play, you can actually just march some of the biggest things in the format, like mono green, stuff they get off card, which is pretty handy. At 2, one thing I have to say as well is we're playing a lot of Foretell spells in this deck, so hey, bear that in mind, but we have 2 copies of Make Disappear, which is a catch-all 2-mana counter spell. Super nice, super solid, and then 1 copy of Veto, with a few more copies in the board as well. Veto helps you deal with some of the more problematic things. A lot of the time you're fine with dealing with creatures, you've got sweepers and that kind of thing, but things like planeswalkers, enchantments, artifacts can be problematic. Coming in at 3, we have 2 copies of Saw It Coming. No absorbs here. One of the things is that, hey, it doesn't play well with Mindsplice Apparatus, at least with Saw It Coming. You do get that cost reduction, which is nice. But also, hey, we're playing it into a bunch of Foretell stuff, and so those 2 kind of combine to make it worth it to play Saw It Coming instead. It's fairly standard to play 1 to 2 anyway. We're kind of switching up our suite of things here. 1 temporary lockdown, obviously is an excellent removal spell versus some of the more aggressive decks in the format. We've got a bunch more on the board for those matchups too. So far it's looking a little sparse, but we've got a bunch of Foretell spells that kind of like give us a bunch of things to actually do on to. And we've got these interaction pieces over the first few turns. So, speaking of Foretell spells, obviously we've got our Mindsplice Apparatus here, but one of the best draw spells to play with Mindsplice is Behold the Multiverse. So 3 in a blue, instant, scry 2, draw 2 cards. Excellent. Obviously that goes down to just a blue, scry 2, draw 2. Amazing. Helps you go from, hey, the first copy approach to finding it again 7 cards deep really, really easily. Outside of that, hey, you can tell it on 2 and 2 and then get that cost reduction later on. Again, it plays pretty well with Apparatus. It's just a very solid draw spell in general. The sweepers here look a little bit different. Because we're playing with Apparatus, we want to be holding mana open and then being able to flash things in on turn 4, whether that be, hey, we've got 4 mana open, we're going to Behold, whether that be, we're going to Mindsplice Apparatus, or, and instead of Supreme Verdict, we're going to play Settle the Wreckage here. 2 copies, excellent versus aggro decks, of course, versus more mid-range stuff as well. Settle still does work there. It is worth noting that the Boros Hogak, like Convoke deck, does actually play a bunch of mountains, or at least some of the variants that play Castle Embereth, but it's still really, really solid. And the last thing here, another Foretell spell, is Starnheim Unleashed. XX white when you're playing it from Foretell to make a bunch of angels, and with Mindsplice Apparatus you can make a lot of angels. That's kind of the idea here. Playing one of the main, but some more on the board. It's obviously fairly common in blue-white control anyway to board it into them, but we're having one in the main deck here plays really, really well. Mindsplice solid. At 5, kind of the standard Wrath Suite used to be you have 2 Verdicts, you have a Doomscar, you have a Farewell. Here we've got 2 Set of the Rackages, a Doomscar, and a Farewell. Doomscar, obviously, cost reduction here goes down to white, and again, white off the Foretell. Being a bit flexible, hey, they will not know what we've got foretold, especially games 2 and 3. And then Farewell, of course, we don't really want to exile artifacts here, or enchantments in some cases with temporary lockdown, but we can in a pinch, and being able to exile graveyards and creatures gets you out of a ton of tight spots, things like Crocs that just keep coming back, other things that come out of the graveyard. Farewell's just really, really solid, and again, that cost reduction from Mindsplice takes it down to just potentially white, or lets you do it on turn 5. You can curve and set Mindsplice Apparatus into untap Farewell, which is kind of cool. You can do that with a bunch of these other things as well, and also have other spells you can cast, which is really solid. So, along with the Farewell, we've got some alternate win conditions. We've already had a look at the Stormheim Unleashed, but we also have some Shark Typhoons. Obviously, Typhoon, just one of the best blue cards in the format, super, super flexible, makes a blocker if you need to, makes a threat if you need to pressure some Planeswalkers, and also if you slam it on 6, it can be game over. Excellent. Obviously, we've got 4 copies of Approach the Second Sun, and then we're going a little bit greedy here with Seagate Restoration and Amiria's Call. Both, obviously, are quote-unquote free, but actually very much not free, because if you have to play them as lands, it costs you 3 life. But here, because of the cost reduction, they become so much better with Mindsplice, and so we're playing 1 of each. Kind of taking that kind of risk there. We do have a lot of lands, like 27 in total, including the double-face cards here. And then we also have 1 copy of Aaron's Epiphany. One of the best things you can do in Mindsplice Apparatus is to take extra turns. Extra turns go well with everything, to be clear. Super, super powerful card with Foretell as well. Being able to go like, okay, Angels into extra turn or whatever. Looking at the mana base. So, one of the things, again, with Lay Down Arms, that we have a bunch of plains and a bunch of plains islands. Not as many plains islands as we'd like, so we don't have Prairie Stream. I'll say it again. We do have 6 plains and 3 islands to kind of facilitate that alongside the 4 Hallowed Fountains and 4 Irrigated Farmlands. We have some Fields of Ruin, which can help you find those basic plains. We're mostly here to deal with manlands. Obviously, we're a sweeper deck. One of the things that we struggle with is, hey, after we've got the board, they're going to have some kind of manland, Den of the Bugbear type thing, Mutavault, and we need some kinds of good answers for that, especially because Lay Down Arms being a sorcery, can't deal with them. Fable Passage here kind of taking the place of one of those like Prairie Stream slots, just a flexible land drop. We've got some utility lands. Ottawa, Django isn't actually an always include in blue-white nowadays, it's kind of fine, but is solid enough, I think, and without Prairie Stream, I think it's worth inclusion here. And then we've got a couple of copies of Hall of the Storm Giants as manlands to give us another way to finish the game out. Also does a really good job blocking on defense once you run out of cards. If you get into that situation, obviously it's pretty dire, but still something there. And then also a Castle Vantress, obviously, is extra good here in Approach because we can scry towards the second cast. Great. I'm going to go through the sideboard and hop into some best of 3 ranked games. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. The sideboard then. So we have our Cohera first off. I think it's worth still playing. It obviously gives you that distraction element as well, which is nice. Your opponent is not expecting you to go Mindsplice on turn 4. We then have 2 copies of Rest in Peace versus Graveyard decks. Veto, which is nice for control, but also just another counter spell for those pesky things like Planeswalkers and enchantments. 2 copies of Stormheim Unleashed, really for mid-range and control matchups where you can board into alternate win conditions after the sideboard. It's just super powerful, game-ending win condition. Along those lines as well, we have 2 copies of Shark Typhoon, and then versus aggro, we've got 3 copies of Temporal Lockdown here too. Mystical Dispute plays an important role here. On turn 5, you can force through Mindsplice Apparatus, and a lot of times, if you've got that dispute, to kind of counter that counter for it in those control matchups. And with the Mindsplice Apparatus down, you get the mana advantage of those matchups, which can often lead to your victory. It's obviously just a really good counter spell versus a ton of decks in the format as well, things like Spirits, that kind of stuff. And then lastly, 2 copies of Narset. It's obviously very, very good with Approach anyway, because you can kind of dig for Approach or your key pieces. Whether that be, hey, I want a counter spell, or hey, it hits a bunch of your other relevant cards. It's excellent in control matchups, even some of those mid-round matchups, or something like Phoenix even, where you can shut down your opponent's draws while getting some advantage out of it, dig for counter spells, that kind of thing is excellent. Right, let's hop into some ranked games. Alright, into our first match. I'm actually recording this a little bit late because I've had some audio issues I've been battling with, so I think this will come out on Thursday now, with everything. But hey, see how it goes. Veto, we have a Doomscar reverse something aggressive. Obviously we can foretell this and then cast it early if need be. And we've got an approach round, so we'll keep this. A little weak to something like Greasebang. I don't have to interact. Ooh. Obviously, this looks like one of these spirits. It'd be tough. We do have the veto to maybe force through some stuff later on in the game. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, file in here. We'll Fatal the Doomscar. If you can catch them early with a couple of creatures in play, but without any interaction counterspell wise, pretty good spot. It's like here they can have something like Spell Pierce, but because of what we can trade away. High Plains. I'm just gonna pass here. Reason being is that I actually want to use the Smart Shuttle Early Light to make them spend some mana on their turn, and then we can try and do some stuff. Cast this March for 2-0. I'm going to target the Shackle guys because it's more of a threat by itself. We're trying to buy some time until we get topic stuff. There's a Rattle Chains. I wonder what they'll commit to here. Gonna take some damage. Get a 13. With 4 cards in hand, we're still a little bit in danger of being spell pierced. We're in a position where next turn we can actually go Doomscar plus veto, one way or the other. So I think I'm gonna pass here and look to Mindsplice end of that turn, draw out some interaction, rather than just run this out. If we run this out and it gets countered now, if we get spell pierced here, I think we just have another like super effect to get. I'm actually gonna pass. Okay. Let's see. This will leave us quite low on life, but the idea is to be able to start accumulating some advantage. We're going to try and Mindsplice, and we absolutely expect to get countered. Otherwise, we actually do need a land to be able to do Doomscar veto next turn, but the idea here is that the Mindsplice will be able to draw a counterspell now, so we'll be able to Doomscar with no issues next turn. The hope. I know that Mindsplice resolve, which is actually even better for us, actually. Assuming it doesn't get immediately bounced. It doesn't. Alright, now we can try a Mindsplice, and we have some pretty powerful counter magic with Make Disappear, and we also have a veto lying around too. We'll see whether this resolves or not. I'm going to try and Geist-like Snare this, to which I think I'll just veto, and then hopefully they don't have a Spell Pierce. The plan. Oh, they have a Maslin Wanderer to come in. Target the veto, target the veto, target the veto. Right, well, that is fair enough, I think. Yeah. It's a hope they don't have one piece of interaction. But hey. Into game 2. And we should be able to get to sideboard some handy stuff here. Right, these temporary lockdowns, they're mostly 1 and 2 mana spells. The mono blue version of the Spirit deck is almost exclusively 2 mana spells, whereas the blue white version tends to stretch up to 3 a bit more. On top of that, also, hey, vetoes will be coming in. Really tend to read the shots they physically block, and these angels are actually kind of more potent. So this is a match where we're going to board out some of the more clunky stuff. So I'm going to go, might even cut down to last copies of Approach. But hey, clunkier sweepers here. This farewell is going to get gone. We're going to keep in this Mindsplice. This will keep in settles. That's all fine. As far as the cheap counterspells, fine on the. I don't love veto. Yeah, it kind of helps us 4-6-3, but actually most of their spells are just creatures. So hey, they have like 4 guys there, so not actually. We're trying to bring in a lot of cards. 7. I'm going to cut a copy of Approach. I'm only going to bring in 1 tunes. Then places to shift. See, I quite like the idea of making angels here, but it's a little awkward. And then the other thing is that versus mono blue, where they have lots of super cheap creatures, 3 mana counter spells actually become quite bad. Kind of down with this. I kind of want to keep. I'm having to keep a Starnheim Unleashed in. Let's send this up. Alright, alright. Spirits is probably a bit of a bad matchup just because they have cheap pressure and interaction. Okay, that's fair. Here, we haven't got a ton going on super early. We have March going to get some early time. So I might at least we actually could maybe just cast on turn 3 with nothing else going on, and then like, hey, we've got a lockdown. I think we keep it, but obviously we're a little light on lands. So we're playing 27 mana sources. I think we've got to be fine making this decision. Need to go down to 6. Okay. I'm gonna shock to foretell this. We'll see how that goes. Spectral Sailor. Alright, we kind of want to dodge this. It's a 3-part combo though. We'll see if they have the Geist Lights there as well. They've not played a land yet. There we go, there's a land. And then it's like, hey, if we get Geist Lights here, we're in a lot of trouble. We haven't hit our land. I'm gonna pass, but at least we get to make them move down on their turn. And I'll try and march this for 1. I'll respond to this. Cast 1. Try to exile the Spectral Sailor. What I pay? This way we're like playing around Rattle Change. We're still vulnerable to the Geist Lights there, but at least they're going to tap out. Pseudo tap out on their turn, the Wanderer. But if we draw the land that we need, ooh, okay, nice. Doesn't look like they have a snare. 2 mana. There. Ooh, you've not drawn a land. I'll foretell the Beholder Multiverse. New Curious Obsession. Yeah, we've got a bit of life left. The danger is if they have Rattle Changes there, like second. The land, it's not the one we want. We don't have a lot of choice about this. My mana, so they're a bit flooded. I should cast this before they draw anyway. And I should cast it before I fetch because I want to draw lands. I mean, in theory. It's very small optimization, but it's there. I'm almost not expecting this to resolve as well as the other thing. I'll dispute it. Right. So dispute doesn't work on temporary lock. What I do, that's the nice thing about temporary lockdown versus Mouselian Wanderers, is only does instant freeze. Yeah. There are a lot of cards. One behind a land here has been Super Punisher. Very good. Find. In theory, you should grab planes. There's a 4th land. I'm gonna cast this, play this tap to the idea of then casting the second one next time. We do get disrupted, but I think that's fine. I also actually have really not seen disruption out of Monolith Spirits. I'm a bit surprised by this. We play like Lofty Denial. I guess it kind of makes sense, but I guess if they're not playing the drop snow creature. I was expecting this anyway. Alright, Mouselian Wanderer versus 2 copies of Curious Obsession. We have a Shark Typhoon. We want to kind of play. We have like 3 turns. That's kind of discounting the Faceless Haven. So, see how that plays. I'll pass. I might just cycle Shark Typhoon and block here. If they activate the land, I'm incentivized to try and cast this out of the wreckage, but could be kind of doomed. Let's see what happens here. This is an interesting one. They got flooded, and we're like 3 land drops behind them, and overall more than that. I'll just block, try and cut off the draws. Fine. There's nothing else to do here. We have a March. I don't mind pitching one of these things for it. I really don't know what we got going. Would love to get this Mindsplice into play. 1-2, 1-2. An exile card. You know, I'm happy to run with this, and then I can exile a card for March next turn. We need a trim approach, but I could potentially. This is just golf. Oh, so much. Yeah. This is Vigilance anyway, isn't it? I'm gonna combat. The March style. I could march for 0, right? But I think trying to get rid of this Dazzling Wanderer now is the best shot we have. Even though we can target the Haste Havens for free. I got a Rattle Chains. Oh, that's nearly lethal damage. If they have the Lord... Oh, it is. Oh! That's brutal. It's a really punishing matchup, and the one thing we absolutely need is mana. We fell behind on lands that game too. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'll see the next match. Alright, here we go, match number 2. Yeah, we got 10 pound out pretty badly by Spirits there. I think the matchup gets decent post-board. You got Disputes, you got Temporary Lockdowns. I think that's reasonable. We just stumbled super hard on lands. It made me mulligan, but it doesn't feel right to, in my opinion. We will ship the one lander. Don't have a blue source here, but may just keep this anyway. Maybe find a blue land here. We're on the play. Don't really want to go to 5, so I'm going to keep this. I'll have a think about what I want to put back. Maybe just the Shard Typhoon. Obviously, it's the most thing that's first out of reach. The Set of the Wreckage and Temporary Lockdown are both a little matchup dependent, though. Also with that. We're hedging one way or the other. I think the smartest thing to do is put one of these back. I think put back. Settle. Try and keep the powerful cards and hope they carry us through. I'll leave it planes. Alright. See how this pays out. Tough mulligan. Ooh. Alright. So far, pretty happy with putting the settle back. I'll take the counter spell, that's fair enough. We did draw into a blue land, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and tell this Behold the Multiverse. I'll help destroy us out of a mulligan. And protect it a little bit, just in case they have another hand disruption spell. Yeah, we lose a Shark Typhoon, which should be pretty good here. Okay, maybe. Black Red, Harvester, sure. Wait. We're in the market to take 3, but I think that is okay. We'll go ahead and end here. I don't really want to crack this field of red. Like, we can grab our planes for lay down arms. It's not super great. Would rather just behold and... Also, we have the Temporary Lockdown, which will clear some stuff up. No Fable, which we love to see. Alright, Behold. There's a land. A bit early in the game for an approach. We'll put that on the bottom for now. But, hey, we'll copy select around. That is all good. Then we're looking into Shark Typhoon. And I'll play Hall here. Sorry, I'll play Islands. The reason for that is planning to cycle a Shark Typhoon for 2. That's a block here. Yeah, we still have the temporary lockdown. We have the behold as well, actually. So maybe we just let them kind of swing through. They're taking damage, but I think that. Yeah, with no counter spells though, we're in a bit of a pickle if they try to just drop shield draft. There it is. The behold. Once. We're really close to getting this Charterhood online. We're pretty far away from being able to lay down arms to shield dread. I'm gonna keep the farmland because I want to draw lights. I want to draw planes. There is another one actually. Right, if we can avoid dying for a turn cycle, then we'll be able to. Let's actually take a draw step. Okay, approach promises to buy some time in a little bit. So if we go planes now, we can go field plus temporary lockdown to get rid of the bloodbath harvester, taking less damage. And that gives us the fourth plane to then be able to lay down arms and shoulder next turn. I think that's our best bet. We can also go farmland and just, you know, cycle the Shark Typhoon. That puts some positions 4, 7, 5. I think that's worse than doing. Feels a little weird, but I think it's alright. They can cycle the blood token here as well, get some value off of that. Fair enough. That is the next turn we can go irrigated farmland, and then we've got our 4 planes to lay down arms. It's not perfect, but they've got no man land as well, which is nice. Otherwise you're gonna feel with it. But they have a lot to still keep working with. 5 mana. Oh, Dreadhawk Butcher. Interesting. Alright, I'm fairly confident being able to outpace the Butcher thanks to. Feels a little weird though. Thanks to approach. This costing 3 life is gonna cost us. Children's still a thing to exile here. We have the Shark Typhoon to potentially block the Dreadhawk Butcher. See how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Alright. They know about the Shark Typhoon too, to be fair. But being on a 5 and not 4 here, really nice. The Bone Crusher Giant would be able to just finish us off. Let's see. Sorry, my voice is a little shot, hay fever and stuff. I'm still somewhat recovering. I'm gonna blitz this here. Oh, yeah, that is tough. Okay. If they have a push, we are just dead. So let us hope. We are going to block. We have to block here. This will just kill us. As it is, it puts us to 3, which means we can't play the S3. I think it's to draw a card off of that. And okay, fair enough. They've got the speed for the finish. Interesting. Interesting. Pretty interesting take a red black. Given the Dreadhawk Butchers and the other things, temporary lockdowns probably better than they normally are. In general, these settler wreckages get a little bit worse. I don't necessarily want to have 4 copies of one. To be fair. Outside of that, Narset fairly solid. You shut down a lot of the things they're doing. Well, Narset's just down a little bit of the things they're doing, but also finds us the cards. Simon Unleashed is kind of like a win the game spell here. We'll look at that. And let's see where we want to be. So, Fable's obviously non-creature, but other than that, actually, most of the threats, there's just so many good creatures that Red Black deck. Yeah, it's actually great here. I'm happy with the laydown arms. Finally, will make disappear. Which one Epiphany? From the Epiphany here as well. I think it's fine to, or maybe 3-star and Unleash the. This is the combo, is it? That's looking at also. Obviously, if they can't. Maybe bringing a mix is better. Unless the cards they showed us, the temporary lockdowns look pretty good, but they might board a bit differently. That's anything I'm worried about. I'm happy with this. Okay. Let's send it. Alright, 0-1 down, a bit in the hole. Again, they're pretty awkward hands. What? Okay. The shuffler just doesn't like me today, I guess. Like, this hand is also... This is like a 2-card hand. I just don't even go 5 extra. It's just not looking better, and this is it. That's the one thing. We have a bunch of expensive spells to look at that deck, and if we kind of draw too much of one half of it, we get in trouble. We'll put an approach on the bottom. We also only resolved the Mindsplice Apparatus twice. Once, sorry. I'll go ahead and put that switch on there. I'm going to protect that a little bit. Yeah, when I talk about like alternate win conditions and stuff, there are decks that format slaughter games, which is obviously less popular in this particular format. I think I just pitched the approach here. But things like Lost Legacy, I can just like take your combo pieces, are problematic. I'm gonna play this 2-mana counter spells, or Fable, whatever. Would rather use them to disappear at the moment. More vulnerable in the hand anyway. But then also will scale up into the late game, which is where this game's headed. This would be a really good time to draw a Mindsplice Apparatus. We don't. Farmland. We want to cycle, I think. Yeah, just gotta find something. The mulligans are so punishing versus red black as well. Okay. This is a pass. Alright. Oh, cycle this. Okay, nice. And they passed last time, maybe they'll pass this time. We'll see. The red-black deck, because this is an artifact, not enchantment, there are more answers. The red-black. Yeah? Maybe they just want to board into any threat. You might have a Braid, they could have Polygons Command. Those things aren't super popular but come up every now and again. The Sword Coming now costs 1 mana. We're gonna go ahead and okay. What if I tell it to protect it? We'll pass. We at least with a march of good answers for this. This will exile the approaches thing. Maybe I'll forget about it. Yeah, we'll be able to exile this with a march later on. Or quote unquote free. Really close to being able to let Shock Draw resolve. Currently this costs. Currently playing for. I think we just don't risk it. We have clean answers. I think we counter this, and then we can untap and then the hold next. I'll draw a step. We can also play the hold off of the. This costs I mean, this will be free. Give me draw here. Lay down arms is solid. I'm going to go ahead and fire this off. Try and hit some lands. We'll take the Starlight Unleashed. Plains is awkward. Almost want to... Yeah, I think I'm going to do... We'll fire at the Horned Ridge. Grab a blue source here and then force out the Starlight Unleashed. Want another blue source. I think we've answers for pretty much everything. Does have haste we can play. Off with Atlas. Okay. So yeah. Now we can march the vessel for 1 mana. It was a little bit more awkward, but I think fine. What are they thinking here? Alright, another march. I don't have to do this. Do I want to make angels or not? Currently this is 2 free angels. I want to wait a turn. So currently we can cast this for X. Wait, we can cast 4, and we can also clear that board up a bit. Fine. I'm just gonna pass. Find a leader with nothing and then untap angel. Or the maximum. Kind of letting Fable do its thing here. We do have the 3 marches at this time. Sure. I'm gonna take the tea from them. Put all that massive rush left, nice. What else they do? Let's just get rid of the thing. Get them to draw off of it, but we get to see what we draw this way as well. Now we've got a reduction of 4. So this. See how that goes. Let's see what they left in the deck. If they're boarding into Hidetsugu, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think they're gonna have loads of answers. Alright, we've shown a Starlight Unleashed. I feel bad not bringing the last, that's why I think I've got enough stuff going on. And now shown approach, I kinda want to trim one. Kind of between Shark Typhoon and Narset, both of which fairly solid. I found myself like not having I'm playing 27. Do I want to cut a Starlight Unleashed? I don't think so. I have more answers. That kind of thing. Boarding. Also play draw difference. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Settle up. Sorry, I had to mute. Yeah, it looks like a fairly solid hand. I'm just gonna let go planes, have the make this appear available here for the Fable, that kind of thing. Not that hard to any pressure, but hey, when we hit lands, we're in a really good spot. If we can resolve Apparatus, the golden. Alright. This is another hand that loads around. This is really awkward to counter, but no matter. Okay, saw it coming here. 4 shots of you for 1. Getting a draw in would be solid. Full shock. Basically, we just want to hit our 4th line. Rage. Hopefully. Let's go land. What am I thinking? Let's resolve. Let's see what they want to take. Alright, this is the chaos spell, which is what I thought, which is what I figured. I'll cycle here. What I did to block point damage. Yeah, arms is decent. We have a bunch of planes in play. Largely just concerned about Fable here. Ah, yeah. What your average for a black deck?
1,000 years. Finally, a new conquest. Go ahead.
What client?
Plead for mercy. Defy me, and you'll lose.
Double Mindsplice is fantastic, but we're in a really awkward situation. They've managed to reduce themselves to no creatures, but like if they just... I don't want to talk about it.
By coin or card.
Gonna take some more damage here.
Tribute is owed. Pleasure doing business with you.
We've been the approach, keep a hold. We don't have great answers for next listeners. This is really, really tough. And this is why we kind of have to discard rather than pay the life, because we don't actually have a good answer for the underdog from the graveyard. It's just going to keep coming back. Lay down arms don't deal with it. It's kind of like the manland problem I was talking about when doing that profile. I have some games recorded with Battle Gear that we win, but this is tough. All right, we get the apparatus down, and we need the best draws in the world here, really. Field of Ruin. What am I thinking here? I know the Laydown Arms isn't going to get us there. We basically need a march. Land is not terrible, but it's also not what we need right now. We just need to draw a march for the underdog. That is not a march. Alright, well, I think that might be game over.
Defy me, and you'll lose everything.
I haven't even thought about the ultimate.
By coin.
This version of the red black deck is super.
Tribute is owed.
You kept to lay down arms to deal with like a shell dread, but again, the underdog's just going to come back from the grave. Oh no, okay. Well, that's also a thing. I wasn't ready for the Goldspan Dragon. We actually have better answers for that. I don't have a man lands to target. Let's get this plains number 5. In turn, let's just do. Oh, I miscounted. Oh, jeez. We are absolutely dead anyway. Alright, well, that's tough. Alright, well, that has been Apparatus Approach. I recorded some games and won with it yesterday, but they have terrible audio and I can't upload them. I hope you enjoyed the tag deck. It is a really, really sweet deck, even if we didn't do so well. Had some rough draws there, but hey. And this is a really sweet version of Red Black. I might have a look at this in a video coming soon. But hey, hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and take care. Have a great weekend.